Okay. Now we've busted out a guitar. This is a guitar. And here we are. We're doing this video. It's crazy. It's crazy to have this here and this here in the same video. What is this even? What are we doing anymore? What is life? Hi. Thanks for joining. I want to do a couple videos, not many, but I do want to do a couple videos on guitar. I started in music as a guitar player. Let's put it that way. Hey, everyone. Sorry, this is future me cutting this guy off because before he rambles for too long, I want you to know that I have footage of my guitar restoration that I am going to be cutting in clips from, along with me explaining all of this stuff. So I was recording this to be more of an intro, but then it got really long and then I cut it way down. You're going to see some footage of me talking, sitting at the chair, and some footage of me working on the guitar. And then I also have some clips where I take some breaks while I'm working on the guitar. So anyway, just wanted to cut in, let you know how this video is going to go down, because I didn't really know exactly how I was going to pull this together when it was all said and done. Anyway, thanks. Bye. I think a lot of us who do this probably also do this. You know, I think we're kind of still in the same space. So I'm going to play this footage. It's, a lot of it's time lapsed, and we're going to kind of go through the restoration. A little background on me. In a different life, when I was much younger, I was a guitar player in a touring metal band. And we had a record deal, and we toured the country a few times. And all in all, it was a crazy 5 to 5.5 year time in my 20s where I got to play music with my friends. And a lot of that was done on this guitar. I should rewind a little further than that, though, because this guitar has been with me for, believe it or not, 30 years. I have been the original owner of this guitar, and I got this guitar in 1994. This guitar was built in 1993. I did a restoration of this guitar recently, within the last couple weeks, and I actually did the footage, and that's what this video ultimately is sort of the aggregate of all of that footage. But to understand why I did this with this guitar, and to understand sort of why I'm even doing this, I just want to say that this guitar does hold a lot of sentimental value for me. The modifications I've done to this guitar are probably not a wise decision overall for people who do guitar restorations. So if you're like a real guitar guy, or girl, and you're looking at this video being like, oh, why would he put those parts on that guitar? Because it's sentimental. I totally agree that this kind of guitar and the kind of condition of this guitar probably would not warrant the caliber of parts that I've replaced on this guitar. Nonetheless, I've had this guitar for a very long time, and it means a lot to me. I was in bands basically from that first year, 1994, all the way through to the end of my touring band in 2006. So I spent 12 years playing in bands. And then with that last band, with the touring, it got really intense. And this guitar took a major beating through all of that. I share that to say that this guitar, even though it's probably not wise to put the parts on that I did, because they are nice parts, you typically would not take a beat up 1990s Les Paul Studio and put these top of the line parts in it. But that's what I did because this guitar just means a lot to me. And 4 years ago, I put a Emerson Pre-Wired Kit into here. So these pots and all the wiring behind it our brand new electronics. I did that 4 years ago. And then I also changed the bridge to a Tone Pros locking bridge. So not that they lock on the saddles or anything, but they have these little Allen pins that lock into the posts and kind of keep it a little more stable. And so I did that. That modification needed to happen, actually, because the saddles were totally corroded from years of sweat and blood and condensation. And, this was in really rough shape. So this bridge needed to be done. I also changed the toggle switch to a Switchcraft that came with the Emerson kit. And I had always intended to replace the pickups and replace the tuners. And I was going to go with this two-tone sort of motif that I started with the bridge. And so on the back, these are ratio locking tuners. And these have special gearing for each string so that they are kind of optimized in their gear setting for each string and the type of tension that each string has. So these are really cool because it's tough to see because I did keep this part black, but they have these little mounting plates on the back of these that allow you to keep the same screw hole that was there with the original hardware. So you don't have to keep drilling new holes to replace these tuners. And they have all different plates that work with all the most standard configurations of tuners that are out there. But the cool thing that I like how this looks, I really love how this came together. I kept the original washers from the original tuner set. And so I think that came together really nice. I think that looks really cool. I also replaced the studio truss rod cover and kept the original screws. The pickups are, and I'm not sure if you can tell, but you'll be able to tell in some of the other footage as we go through it. These are bare knuckle pickups, hand wound passive pickups made in England. These are polymaths. I actually reached out to bare knuckle pickups and asked them. I was originally thinking of their Juggernaut, and I asked them, hey, I'm thinking about this pickup. Do you think this is the right kind of pickup for me? And the owner of the company actually wrote back and, kind of asked me what I play, what I like to play, some of the sounds I'm going for. They really took their time and they told me, you should think about the polymaths. I think they'd be better for you. And I went and listened to the sound samples and agreed that they sounded like the type of pickup that I was sort of looking to have in here. Beyond that, bare knuckle has these amazing aged finishes. So I was able to get these pickups in this sort of distressed finish. And on the website, I thought they kind of looked warmer than you would typically think with nickel. Nickel you would think is silver. But these actually have a much warmer tone. When I say tone, I'm talking about the color of it than you would expect on a nickel. It's a raw aged nickel. And I just love how it looks. It has sort of some string marks kind of in there, and it just fits the motif of the guitar. As we go through some of the other footage, you're going to see that this guitar has been beat up. There's a lot of worn paint on the headstock. There's some dings and dents. This thing's been dropped. It's been thrown accidentally. I had a strap come loose and I just lost it. It went off on me. It's a miracle that this thing has stayed in one piece. I'm not sure if new Les Pauls are built this solidly, at least not in the studio line. But in the 90s, I guess they were, I don't know. People say that about new versions of these kinds of classic guitars, and I'm sure they're all great. I don't know.
Cool observation. Wow. Hey, it's future me again. There were things with working on the guitar that I just didn't even touch in this sit down at the chair. I had a hell of a time getting my old pickups out. If you noticed in some of the footage, the screws were incredibly rusted, very, very corroded. They literally just turned into rusty dust when I put the screwdriver in them. And I actually had to drill out the screws with a power drill. So I'm gonna start putting all the sort of footage together here just to round this off, and then we'll have a little outro area. Okay, cool? Cool.
Okay, so this is a way bigger problem. That these screws are all, I'm not sure if this is coming up, totally stripped and corroded. So this one's coming out. That one's totally bored out. These are also not looking great. Maybe I can get them. The neck pickup looks a little better. These ones I think I can get out. Wow, okay. I did get all 4 of these screws to come up. I'm not worried about them coming out. I did get this one out. Using the needle nose pliers, I scraped up this plastic frame pretty bad. I mean, the whole aesthetic of the guitar is beat up. Unfortunately, this is definitely going to take longer than I expected. So scrub the neck. I may go hit that again. Figured I would, while I'm here, do the tuning pegs. I kept the old washers and really love this look. The new shape of the keystone shape on the tuners. All right, it's the next day. Working on the pickups. I've resorted to drilling out this screw. I am slowly just taking a drill and trying to get that material out of the hole while doing my best to preserve the pickup ring. I was also able to get this hole out. This I know moves. This one I feel is so close to being able to come loose, but this one is being a real bitch. These all come out, so I'm sure the neck pickup will come out. I didn't do a time lapse on this because I've already spent quite a bit of time, and it just would be boring, me switching drill bits and going back and forth. But this is what happens when you have a 30-year-old guitar that apparently you need to wipe the sweat off of after every show. And then you never do that. And then this happens. So, lessons learned. Whew, I got it off. Got some damage on the corner holes here, but overall I think it's salvageable. That one got pretty torn up, so did the other corner, but overall, and there's some dings, and obviously these holes got that one's really bad. So I got this out. Here's where the screws were, and there's the hole. And then there's a plug right next to it. And this is the kind of stuff that makes this a studio. Clearly, when whoever built this in 1993, they put the hole in the wrong place and had to move it over. So they had to plug up a hole. So that's an interesting thing. Also, when you open up the cavity, it says ebony. Now I'm going to go and disconnect the 2 pickups. Then I'll pull that one out. Then take all this tape off and clean everything up, see what we have. Okay. So the neck pickup came out so much easier than the bridge. It's not even funny, but interesting. It says in here, LP Studio checked. So now it's hard to read, but that's actually a 3, September 30th, 1993. And I've checked my serial number, so I know that is accurate. But very interesting. It's interesting that the in the stencil for LP Studio, it's upper and lowercase. Was like checked September is all uppercase, and ebony is all uppercase. It's interesting they went lowercase on Studio. All right, we're gonna keep moving. Next up is kind of cleaning and polishing this whole area. I need to take apart this pickup with the springs, clean up this ring. I cleaned this up a little bit. Got some sandpaper, smoothed out some of the rough spots. But we'll see. We'll see what we can do with this.
Hey, future editor, me here again. How many of these am I gonna do? I don't know. We're getting to the end here, folks. I had a really hard time getting the pickups into the pickup ring. It was the first time I had ever put one of those together. I had to look up how to do it. Anyway, this guitar counter is riveting, isn't it? The amount of suspense I have on how many times am I ultimately gonna say the words which we shall not speak. Who knows? Who knows how high that number could go before the end of this? Anyway, let's hit the outro. And so, this guitar has been with me for just a crazy amount of time, 30 years. I couldn't believe that. When I thought about it, I was like, oh my God, this is a 30-year-old guitar. That's insane. I just wanted to share because, this is a music community. I know a lot of us probably play other instruments. That's this video. I appreciate you listening to my story. Do you have an instrument that you have had for a very long time that's, you couldn't imagine living without? I mean, these things become a part of you at a certain point. And this guitar kept me, this guitar both at the same time kept me out of a lot of trouble and got me into a lot of trouble. So, in a lot of ways, you gotta appreciate sort of what these things bring to your life. I just figured I'd put this little video together and share it with you guys. Hopefully, you stick around for more synth videos, but just know that every so often you may see a guitar video every so often. Who knows? I'll catch you guys later. Thanks. Bye.